Good day, children. Today in this video, we will see the story of Invisible Man. A mysterious man arrives at a local inn in Iping, an English village, an old village. Okay, the name of the village is Iping. The inn is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Inn is like a hotel or lodge. The man wears a long sleeved, thick coat, a wide brimmed hat, and gloves, and his face is hidden almost entirely by bandages. A pair of blue glasses and a false nose. He spends most of his time in his room working with chemicals and laboratory equipment. What happens when the stranger is unable to pay his bills and there is a theft in the village? So here there is a mysterious man, okay, and he is wearing a long sleeved thick coat, a wide brimmed hat, just you saw in the image before, and gloves, and his face is hidden almost entirely by bandages. And he is wearing a pair of blue glasses and a false nose. He spends most of his time in his room, okay, working with chemicals and laboratory equipment. Okay, now what happens when the stranger is unable to pay his bills, unable to pay his expenses, whatever he has made, and there is a theft, and not only this, there is a theft in the village. Now how it is connected to the story, we'll see. Here the story begins. The stranger came into a little parlour of the Couch and Horses Lodge. The lodge name is Couch and Horses. At about 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Okay, he remained there until midday, until afternoon. All the doors and windows were shut inside the room. Okay, no one knew what he did there because all the doors and windows were shut and no one knew what he did there. All that time he did not eat anything. From morning till afternoon he didn't eat anything. Thrice he rang his bell, the third time furiously and continuously, but no one answered him. Now and then people heard him walk up and down, and twice they heard bottles being smashed violently. So these all were strange. This man, he entered the little parlour, Couch and Horses Lodge, at 5:30 a.m. until he was there midday. He didn't open his doors and he didn't open his windows. Everything was shut. No one knew what he was doing, and he was continuously ringing his bell. And the next time he was ringing it in a very angry way. And next what happened? Now and then people heard him walk up and down, and twice they heard bottles being smashed violently on the floor. So this is what was happening there. Okay. Next, the little group of scared but curious people in the inn increased. Okay, there was a little group. They were very scared but very curious, like what was happening inside the room. Okay, inside in the darkness of the parlour, the stranger sat hidden in his long coat, hat, and dark glasses. Okay, he was hidden inside a long coat, hat, and dark glasses. About noon, he suddenly opened the parlour door and shouted. About noon, he suddenly opened the parlour door and he shouted. What did he shout? Mrs. Hall! Somebody sheepishly went to call Mrs. Hall. So he was shouting Mrs. Hall. So somebody, like they were feeling embarrassed or timid. Sheepishly means like being embarrassed or timid or being shy. Okay, they went to call Mrs. Hall. They were not willing to call her, but somewhere they were feeling very embarrassed to call Mrs. Hall. Okay, next what happened? Mrs. Hall appeared presently. She had deliberated over what was coming and came holding a little tray with an unsettled bill on it. So she knows what is happening there. She was intentionally doing all these. Deliberated over is like intentionally doing what was coming and came holding a little tray. And what was there on the tray? An unsettled bill. That is, the speaker, that is the stranger, has to pay the bill. So he didn't pay it. So it is an unsettled bill on the tray. Next. Now she came and she's asking, "Is it your bill you're wanting, sir?" she asked. Mrs. Hall. "Why wasn't my breakfast late? Why haven't you prepared my meals and answered my bell?" the man asked. So what is that? The man is asking her, why wasn't my breakfast late till now? Why haven't you prepared my meals and answered my bell? Why isn't my bill paid? asked Mrs. Hall. Okay, she was correct. She's asking that. Why isn't my bill paid? asked Mrs. Hall. That's what I want to know. I told you 3 days ago that I was waiting for my money. Okay, now we came to know that stranger is staying in that inn for 3 days, for more than 3 days. Okay, so Mrs. Hall is saying that, why isn't my bill paid? asked Mrs. Hall. That's what I want to know. Now the stranger is answering, I told you 3 days ago that I was waiting for my money. I told you 2 days ago I wasn't going to wait for any money. If my bills aren't paid, you can't complain about your breakfast, can you? So now she's very clear. Okay, you said that 3 days ago you're waiting for your money. But she's saying that I told you 2 days ago itself that I'm not going to wait for any money. If my bills aren't paid, you can't complain about my breakfast or anything else. Okay, now she's saying that, can you just do that? If you're not paying the bill, then how can I serve you? Yes. Next, I have told you that my money has not come yet. Hasn't come indeed. Still, I suppose I may have a little money in my pocket. You told me 3 days ago that you didn't have anything. Well, I have found some more. I wonder where you found it, said Mrs. Hall. So what happened now? The stranger is saying that, I have told you that my money has not come yet. Hasn't come indeed. Still, I suppose I have a little money in my pocket. So he is saying that, still I suppose I may have a little money in my pocket. So Mrs. Hall is asking that, she's questioning, you told me 3 days ago that you didn't have anything with you. Now how come you got the money from? Where did you get the money from? Well, I have found somewhere, the stranger replied. I wonder where you found it, said Mrs. Hall. Okay, what happened next? That seemed to annoy the stranger very much. What do you mean? He asked angrily. So she was asking, okay, I wonder where did you get the money from? So he got very irritated and he got angry and he just said, what do you mean? That I wonder where you found it, said Mrs. Hall again. She said it again. I wonder where you found the money. And before I do anything else, you have to tell me 1 or 2 things that I don't understand. So she's saying that, okay, before I do anything else, you have to tell me 1 or 2 things. I have a question to ask. Is 1 or 2 things to ask you that I don't understand. Okay, what is that? I want to know how your room was empty. When no one saw you go out and how you got in again. So she's asking, I want to know how your room was empty. How is your room empty and all the noises are coming from your room, but your room is empty? When no one saw you go out and how you got in again. Okay? Everybody has to stop by the door. That is the rule of the house. and you didn't, so I want to know how you came in, and I want to know. So she was like, okay, I have many things to ask you. Some things I cannot even understand. Okay, I want to know, your room was so empty when no one saw you go out, and how you got in again. I didn't see you anywhere. Like, everybody has to stop by the door, and that is the rule of the house. Okay, you have to write that you have checked in and you have checked out, but you didn't do anything. I didn't see you there, and you didn't. So I want to know how you came in, and I want to know that. I have to know what is happening there. Okay, this is the question raised by Mrs. Hall.